Welcome back, beautiful people. This is my channel, not Taya Finds Temperance anymore because I just rebranded. It is now The Loving Revolutionary. My name is Taya and this is my channel. Today's topic is how to change your life when you have no money. I felt inspired to make this video based on a comment that someone left on my last video I made, which was healing yourself heals the world. And I thought it was a very valuable question because most people are living paycheck to paycheck, and it feels generally quite difficult to make changes because you tend to feel quite powerless in that situation. Obviously, money is a really big part of our lives, and most people tend to feel very victimized by it because the amount of money you have really dictates how much freedom you have in your life, how well you can take care of yourself, the experiences you can have, and so on. So it really determines lifestyle and life quality to a huge degree, which is why it is so important and why it weighs so emotionally heavy on us and why we're often so attached to making money or the amount of money that we have in the bank account. It is almost directly linked to our feelings of safety because unfortunately in so many countries of the world, if you're not making any money, you can't really survive. You can't buy food. There's no system that really supports people and gives them the basic needs for free, which is a whole other topic which would be really interesting to explore, but we're not going to go there today. We're just going to go on the more practical side of what you can do now. Oftentimes when people say, well, I can't make any change, I'm just one person, etc., one of the first reasons they say, I am not strong enough or I don't have the capability to change anything, money often is one of the first reasons they give as to why they can't change their lives. But the fact is that you can, and there are two different ways I will be exploring today. One of them will be just you and your personality and how, changing how grateful you are, changing how you see the world, being more kind, etc. Even though that's not a monetary change, that can significantly improve your life through just creating more peace, more happiness, more positivity, more hopefulness, which really truly gives you so much strength to face the aspects of life that are uncomfortable. Because whether you tend to be in a positive mindset or a negative mindset, the negativity is still going to exist there. But having a more positive way of filling yourself with strength and making sure that you think every time something negative happens, I'm strong enough, I'll make it through this, that's going to actually help you make it through it. And then we're going to go into the more physical aspect of how you can change your life with regards to money. Being in poverty isn't just a physical place of being. It is also an emotional and mental space of being. Both our mental, emotional, and physical worlds are extremely interconnected, as the way that we see ourselves and the emotional reactions that we have to the world around us shape our identity. And our identity creates different thought patterns and different patterns of behavior, which then shape the world that we live in. So, for example, if you have a person who grew up rich, they will have a very different mindset and they may have a lot of different tools and ideas about money. And some of the most basic ones might be that I am capable of making money. I have the knowledge of how to make money because my parents did it or my dad did it or whatever. Whereas someone who's grown up in poverty their whole life might think, I've never had money, so I don't even know if I deserve money, or my parents never made money, so I don't have the tools to do this. And obviously the one where they believe they will have the money they're gonna find it much easier. That doesn't mean it's impossible for someone who grew up in poverty or more challenging situations can't do it. They very much so can. Everybody has the capability to create the life that they want, but they're gonna face a different set of challenges that may be more difficult in the beginning because they have to find idols or teachers, or they're gonna have to seek out that information, and they're gonna have to really change their identity and how they see themselves with regards to money. The most basic way that you can start to make change in your world doesn't have to do with money at all. It is just about changing the traits that you have and about embodying what you want to see reflected in your life or reflected in the world in general. So what I mean about this is kind of like the law of karma, for example. If you are kind, people are more likely to be kind to you. You will see kindness more reflected in your life. And this is such a basic thing where just, for example, people treat you the way you treat them. Just changing your personality and who you want to be is a really powerful, basic, and empowering thing to do. And it's right at your fingertips. And this doesn't just regard how other people treat you, but also about how you see your own life. What are the thoughts you choose to have about your life? Do you believe that your life is hard? Do you believe that you are always a victim to your circumstances? Do you believe that it's hard to make money? Do you believe that it's not possible for one person to change the world? None of these are objective truths. And you can see that because other people live in completely different realities where they believe that, oh, it's easy for me to make a change. You decide what you wish to define yourself and your life by. And you don't have to be a victim to your own limiting beliefs. You can choose to change them. So becoming aware of what you're telling yourself now and how you are reacting, and those subtle little sentences that you tell yourself whenever things happen in the world, know that they shape your life. So if you want to change your life and consequently change the world, you have to start becoming more aware of the thoughts you're telling yourself, the emotions, your feelings, and your beliefs. And once you're more aware of that, you can, in those moments, notice them and change them into something else that feels more reflective of the reality and the world that you want to be in, how you want to feel, how you want to treat other people. An example of this could be if a person you really struggle with brings up some kind of drama or is angry at you or negative, instead of being reactive and going back to the, traditional or normal way that you would react to them, if you would feel angry or resentful, just instead have compassion and understand that most people are living their life from a reactionary state where nothing is actually about you. It's not something you have to take personally, because in fact, most of the time they are reacting from their own hurts. And it's not that anything is wrong with you, but oftentimes we are taught to internalize stuff. So we are conditioned to take stuff personally. Also another topic for another video. But point is, you can train yourself out of reacting personally to things and react with compassion instead, and just have this bigger view that says that I understand that even though they are reacting towards me, this isn't actually about me. It's about something within them that is not healed. Don't get this mixed up with putting yourself above someone else, because we all have aspects of ourselves that aren't healed. But understanding that I see the hurt in you because I also have hurt in me, and then leave it at that. And instead of, reacting, being mean or whatever, just change the way you understand people, the way you react to people. And the same applies to any situation in your life or anything that feels uncomfortable. If you can put it into a bigger perspective and see that it's just a phase and have compassion towards it, and not be so reactive, it's going to give you a lot more power. And this will help you shift out of being the victim of your life to becoming a more empowered creator of the life that you truly want to exist in and have. Also know that everything that you choose to embody and you choose to give attention to, which truly recreating yourself is about giving more attention to the parts of yourself that you like and that you want to develop more than the parts of you that you're ready to leave behind. And know that you embodying more of your light and your positivity and choosing to be more loving with the people around you, that's going to make you feel a lot better and empower you. And it's also going to spread to the people around you. And obviously, there will be hardship in this, in the sense that if you hang around with a lot of people who are very negative, they are going to have a hard time with you changing, because friendships and relationships are based off of us sharing commonalities. We all provide something for each other. And if you have been a person who's provided a safe space in being negative or talking crap about other people in the past, and you're choosing to change a lot, those relationships may change and those people might not be in your life in the same way anymore. But know that you will feel better in the long run, and this may even give them an opportunity to reflect upon why they are choosing to stay in this negative space and whether that's actually something they want from themselves. But just know that obviously in any change that we're making in our life, there is going to be hardships in it. There's going to be challenges in choosing the new version of ourselves versus the old one that we have been so comfortable with. That's a basic outline on how you can change yourself without any money. Super basic. Get on it now. Why not? If you want to. So if you want to take this even further and learn how to break out of your skills, break out of your poverty physically. Let's get into that now. Okay, so as I said before, poverty isn't just a state of being physically, it is a state of being that you are in mentally, emotionally, and physically. And even we can take this with the example of someone who doesn't have a lot of money, but feels very abundant, and they live an abundant life. You could just have a lot of like people connections that, for example, help you get nice vacations, or you know a friend who has a boat, so you get these expensive feeling experiences, or you have a big garden, so you have the ability to have this abundance of food around you. So the idea of poverty isn't just based on money. People can feel very rich or very poor but have the same income. The reason why you feel like you can't make any change is because you are highly, highly identified with the amount of money that you are making. It is because your emotions and the way you view the world is very attached to the check that you are receiving. Probably it is likely that you are in a very feeling very stressed out. You may be in the fight or flight response because our society is a mess and we're not at all taught how to live like humans are supposed to live. We're not taught how to regulate our nervous system. And instead, many of us end up victims of this societal situation that we're in, where we're forced to work our life force away for not a lot of money. And basically, we are letting our souls die and sacrificing our true essence for a paycheck, which is a lot lower than what we deserve. Yay! Anyway, so if you're trapped in that fucking little matrix, then yeah, it sucks. It sucks and you deserve so much better. And it's a really hard situation to be in. And it is completely understandable that you feel like you are a victim to the situation that you're in. The only thing you can do in this situation is to empower yourself, and it is to become stronger than these than the environment around you, and you have to discover the inner strength. That is hard when we've identified with being a victim for a really long time, because it's comfortable to be in that energy. It's what is familiar with us, and honestly, a lot of us are afraid that if we choose to be very different, or if we choose to empower ourselves, we will be embarrassed, we will get knocked down again, or we will just completely fail, and it would be better if we just never tried. But the thing is, you have to try if you want something to change. And you are going to feel a lot better the more empowered you are. You can do this in small steps. It's not just about changing it overnight. If you change too much at once, you will probably get knocked down and you will feel confused. It takes time. You have to rebuild a new identity. You have to get really connected to what your true values are in life. And you have to rethink about what your personal tactics might be and how you want your life to look. Because if you know those things, you can truly build a life that is aligned to you. Side note, this process that I'm going to give you is not a type of like get rich quick kind of scheme for how to get out of this matrix. It is actually about you aligning to your true purpose and you finding your own definition of what it means to be truly abundant. Because in my view, it's not really worth having a bunch of money if we're not living a life that is actually in line with our true values. Because you see so many rich people who are depressed and take their lives, or so many rich people who are still stuck in these mental patterns of not being enough and being more of a slave to the fact that they have to make money, even though they have all the money that they need for the rest of their life to live super comfortably and be abundant. So I do not believe in just making money for the sake of making money. That is not what I'm here to teach, just so you know. Now, let us get into the dirt of this system that I have developed, which I think is a great system to get more control of ourselves and how we relate to money, and to get out of this poverty mindset for once and for all. So part of feeling poor is that it is part of your identity. Your thoughts, your environment, your beliefs about yourself, they all reaffirm this idea that you are poor. You have to start changing one of them. Either it starts by changing your thoughts, changing your reactions to money, changing your environment, or changing your beliefs. And all of these will go more or less hand in hand because our lives all change in different ways. But be mindful that the fact that your environment affects you a lot mentally. So even if you clean up your environment, even if you make time to change certain things, even if you make time to invest in certain better products, though invest wisely, depending on what your financial situation is, make sure your space is clean, even make sure that you are making time to take care of yourself. And this goes into your identity, right? If you identify as someone who is poor, you might find that you are not taking very good care of yourself because you have the mindset that you don't have time to take care of yourself. But again, everything goes hand in hand. If you take care of your body and you take care of how you present yourself to the world, people are going to respect you more. People are going to value your presence more. And even the way that you take care of yourself affects how you show up in your world. It affects your energy level. It affects your confidence. It affects even the shame we feel about ourselves. If we show up dirty and unclean, we often can feel shameful because we're afraid someone will notice that we're not showing up as our best selves. So showing up as the best you is going to help you feel better. Giving extra love to you because you deserve it, no matter how much money you're making or how much effect you have on the world, you still deserve to give yourself love and care, regardless of it. And then, as I said before, you have to start understanding your mind and saying, okay, today I am repeating the thought that I don't deserve this money. Or I am repeating the thought that I shouldn't ask for a raise because I'm afraid that I don't deserve it. Go for the opportunities that you can go for. There's nothing wrong with getting rejected. In fact, that's something we have to deal with in life. So just get used to being rejected instead, but still choose to go for what you want. And then I would also become more aware of the reactions we're having. So every time you go into the store, for example, and you're buying yourself groceries, make yourself a budget, be smart with like where you're spending money on, be smart about your food and your groceries, buy healthy groceries though, like do what you can to take care of yourself, and notice your reaction to when you're checking out. Do you feel this feeling of dread when you're putting in your credit card or your debit card? Are you looking at the receipt and saying, oh my God, this is so expensive. We are living in this world of inflation and everything is so hard right now. And then you're going into a spiral of how difficult your life is because of the lack of money you have. No. Okay, this is what we need to not have. And I know it can feel weird and difficult to go from changing your reactions when your reactions feel valid. But we need to create a new identity for you. So if you are going to start believing that you can be rich or have money, be well off, you have to stop and end these automatic, comfortable, victimizing reactions that reaffirm the fact that you don't have enough money. You want to stop reaffirming the fact that you don't have enough, and you need to start reaffirming the fact that you do have enough. And this might feel uncomfortable, it might feel like you're lying to yourself, but that's okay. You have to start there. So instead of going down this reactive, negative cycle of not having enough, next time I want you to say just rational things that kind of neutralize it. Like instead of saying, I feel bad and I feel poor, first on the feeling side, what we can do is we can just sit and look at the check. We can just sit and look at our bank account and just stare at it until the feelings go away. Like a meditation. You stare at it and you're like, At first, of course, it will feel uncomfortable and you will have these automatic negative reactions. But with time, you can let go of it and you can start to feel more neutral. And neutrality is the first step in between going from negativity to positivity. So once you have become more normal with the neutral, try to make sure that every situation you have with money is neutral rather than super negative, where you're just like, okay, sure, I will pay my rent. I don't have to be upset about paying rent. And then after that, even if you don't have enough money, start to be grateful. Start to be grateful for the fact that there is a support system, even though maybe it isn't perfect. Be grateful that you can take out a loan. Be grateful for the fact that you have credit cards. Be grateful for the fact that you have family to fall back on in case of emergency. Or, even if it's the bare minimum, be grateful for what you have. Because if you're not grateful for it, you're bound to lose it. If you keep repeating, oh, I don't have enough, you're gonna have even less. If you keep repeating, I'm grateful that I just have $1, that's something. If you choose to be grateful for that, it's going to grow. What you put your attention on is what grows. Okay, so yeah, start being grateful for every single amount of money that you get. You will start seeing more around you. You'll start receiving more, even if it's just in tiny little bits and trickles. Remember, this is a long-term process. This is a long-term identity change. This is not, pray for something or align yourself to reality and it's going to appear tomorrow. No, that's not possible. You can't just dream something and have it appear tomorrow. You have to identify with the new version of you, and you have to recondition yourself to a new reality in order to receive it. Manifestation is real and it works, but it's not an instant process. It is a long process, and it's longer or shorter depending on who you are and where you're at and what the beliefs you're struggling with are. Period. A really useful tool for this, for changing ourselves and how we see ourselves, is to put it into a bigger perspective. Know that just because your feelings are strong at this time, just because you have been poor for X amount of years, maybe your whole life, that doesn't mean that it's permanent. Notice and use your rational brain. Our rational brain can sometimes be our enemy, but we can make it our friend. It is, in fact, something that we control. So, instead of our rational brain saying, oh, I grew up in poverty, everyone around me was poor, I can't do it, we need to put ourselves into a bigger perspective, a bigger box, because like I said, your thoughts, your beliefs create the lifestyle that you're living. So we need to put ourselves into a wider range of beliefs, which in this situation could be changing the idea of everybody around me grew up poor. Find rational proof that that is not what your life has to be. For example, this is why I bring up having idols. Have people around you that you can use as proof that your life can be different. It doesn't have to be someone from your city. It doesn't have to be someone from your neighborhood. It doesn't have to be someone in your family. Just use someone who you can relate to and use them as your idol. Learn from them. You have to put yourself in a situation where your mind, your body, and your emotions all agree with the new situation, the new lifestyle, the new you can exist. You cannot just emotionally feel like it's possible in your heart, but your subconscious, aka your body, doesn't believe it, and your rational mind doesn't believe it. All of these aspects have to work together in symbiosis to create the new you and the new reality. Next step is maybe a little tricky one, but we need to be real with ourselves about this, and it is sacrifice. When we want to create a new reality, we have to sacrifice old habits, old states of being, old emotional patterns that are not serving us any longer. And I've been speaking about this already through talking about, friends that you might have to, or, relationships that might end because you are becoming a new person. This could also be sacrificing your old personality. That means sacrificing the part of you that wants to be a victim, sacrificing the part of you that doesn't want to take responsibility, sacrificing the part of you that doesn't want to learn new skills in order to make more money. You have to sacrifice the old you in order to make space for a new one, because the new version of you who is empowered and knows that they can make money cannot coexist with one who wants to be the victim and not take any responsibility. But one of the other physical ways of sacrificing is not by sacrificing lambs or babies. Thank God. It is by sacrificing our habits and our money spending habits. If you want to get out of poverty, then you have to notice your money spending habits that are making you more poor. And what I mean by this is, are you spending your money on expensive toys for a dopamine kick that essentially don't serve you any longer or are unnecessary? Are you wasting your money on things that aren't truly going to help you in your growth process? Is this a purchase you can make later and that you can sacrifice now? Because if you want to feel richer, what you have to do is you have to invest into yourself. You have to invest into your skills. You have to invest into self-growth. You have to invest into, investing. To be honest, I'm not a money professional, but I know that you can't be spending money on fruitless things or, superficial things that aren't necessary if you want to become rich. And those toys can be enjoyed later, but especially in the beginning when you only have a little bit of money, only get the unnecessary things. And I mean, maybe get yourself some things occasionally, but just be smart with it. Don't buy yourself a $4,000 Chanel bag when you get the chance. No, like, invest that money in something smart. Invest it into more education, or, learn something about investing money physically. And this also goes with all of our creature comforts. We in our society today are so obsessed with comfort, but comfort it's not a positive thing. Obviously, we need it sometimes, but staying in comfort all the time actually deteriorates us. It deteriorates our spirit. It deteriorates our bodies. It deteriorates our will to live, actually, because in order to feel empowered in our life, we have to stoke the fires of existing. And we do that by overcoming challenges. For example, if you think about getting into an ice bath, that shit invigorates you. If you lay in your bed all day, do you feel invigorated? Do you feel excited about life? No, you feel freaking dull most of the time. Unless, you need comfort sometimes, but it's balance. I'm saying you wouldn't be happy if you laid in bed all day. You wouldn't be happy if you were in an ice bath all day either. But point is that today we are too comfortable, and sometimes and oftentimes, in order to change a situation that we don't truly like and that we don't feel comfortable with, such as feeling poor, we have to get out of our comfort zone and sacrifice, all of the TV programs that we watch. We have to sacrifice our comfort food. We have to sacrifice eating out all the time. If you want to have more money, stop spending money on stuff that you just do because it's convenient or comfortable. It's a crutch. You don't need a crutch. You are all that you need. You are powerful. You are strong. You have the potential to be rich, but you have to grab that potential by the horns and ride the fucking bull instead of just laying under it and hoping that for some reason it's going to pick you to be special and it's going to make you king of the world, but you've just been laying on your couch all day. Life is about experiencing challenges and overcoming them. That's the exciting part. Part of you, your soul, chose to experience this because it wanted to. But understand that it's fun. It's, you are choosing to be a victim to this. So you have to start realizing that it can be fun, even though, of course, it is also very challenging depending on your situation. And it's challenging for all of us in different ways. So I'm not trying to make a light of the fact that life can be extremely hard sometimes. But oftentimes we make it harder for ourselves than it needs to be because we are attached to behaviors and patterns. And it's like an addiction where it goes to a point where we're actually just hurting ourselves more because we are afraid of the reality of life, and we're afraid to invigorate ourselves with the fire that is needed to ride the waves of life and do the best we can. So we just stole ourselves. Enjoy the process. Obviously, like I was just saying, it can get hard and it will get hard. Life is difficult, but it's also beautiful, empowering, magical, and the more we just focus on the hardship and try to dull life, the deeper we're gonna fall into the negativity of it. If we focus on the lightness and the beautifulness and the magicalness and the amount of possibility there is, as well as all the strength we have within us as individuals, the more beautiful it will become, and truly the more expansive, and we will be able to see even the beauty in the hardships, because through hardships we learn more about our own capabilities. We learn about the vastness of our own wisdom, our own knowledge, our own capability to make money, for example, our own capability to be strong and capable individuals in a world that can seem so challenging and rough and hard. There's an aspect of being in this world which I think is really beautiful, and that's about having strength, but also having the softness simultaneously to be compassionate towards ourselves and other people, and to love like the nature and the softness and the mothering aspect of the world, and to be in that space and appreciate it, and also to have this strength and this confidence and this posture of like, I can do this, and I can have boundaries, and I can say no, and I can protect myself, but I can also be soft. That was kind of a side note, but I think that's a really beautiful energy to have. When things become really difficult, as I said, they will, it's not something you can avoid. Just have practices you can fall back upon. Look for videos like this to remind yourself that what you are creating is possible. Find other people to talk about. Find inspiration from your fellow peers who are also working on themselves, or working on improving their health, working on creating a project that is aligned with their heart. There are so many people who are stepping into their power. And so surround yourself by the right people. Also, one thing that I do a lot is whenever I feel very lost, I ask for guidance from God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. And I personally always feel like I get very strong guidance, and that is so special. You just have to look for it, and you kind of have to tell yourself, oh, this is a sign, you know. God isn't gonna, well, at least not for me, God hasn't come down and been like, Taya, this is the sign. And some people will be like, you're crazy for thinking that like that's a sign or whatever, just because they're more stubborn and don't want to believe in God or a higher power. But you, again, define your reality. God's light is just as much inside of you as outside of you. So if you say something is a sign, it's a fucking sign, okay? One last thing, which is the most important thing, is to get to know your personal vision of abundance and success. Imagine a situation where everybody in the world has all the money in the world. It's like all shared or something. Just imagine a utopian reality where you can have whatever you want to. And just as an exercise, write down what you would want to do. Would you want to have animals? Would you want to have a business? What would make you feel like you have a purpose other than having to make money for yourself? And write this down and just do some journaling, and also write down what your values are. What are my values for life? What are the values that I want to stick to? What will make me feel fulfilled? What will make me feel happy in life? What are the things I want to experience? And what do I want my lifestyle to look like in an ideal world? And now I want you to take this and set that as your biggest goal in life, right? Make a generalized idea of it. And then I want you to break that into smaller steps that are viable from where you are now. And maybe you won't ever reach this bigger goal. Maybe it's too big for your life now, but that's okay. As long as you know that you are taking steps to becoming the person who can live that life, and as long as you are embodying those values that you want to embody, know that you are on the right path, and that you will experience so much more fulfillment and joy, and that you're walking towards the right direction. Truly, so many people don't ever choose to think about this, so it is just such an empowering practice, and will get you into contact with your true self and your truest expression in this world. And this is so important because we're taught to sacrifice our true self to exist in this world, but we don't have to. The world is changing, and I want to support you in being part of this change. So I really hope that this is helpful and will help you go towards the right direction that you would like to be going in your life. Know that there's infinite potential, and there are so many people out there who want to support you. and I really hope that your beautiful vision comes to fruition in one way or another in this beautiful life. And I wish you all the luck in following that path. And whenever you fall off, just know that that's normal. Just get back on the horse again. Know that there's nothing wrong with you. Know that the best thing to do is just realign yourself to that path. With that being said, I love you guys and bye. See you in the next video.